welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video about running. So I recently made a video all about running for beginners, so go and check that out if you're new to running and you want some tips on how to get yourself started. This video is going to be looking at different types of run that you can do, because I'm very aware that if you're new to running, or even if you're very experienced, it can get very boring to just go out and do the same type of run every single time that you go out to do your running. Also, some of these ideas can be really good for people who just want to do a new sort of type of workout, and of course for anyone who is completely new to running and just wants to learn a little bit about what running can offer you. Just a small disclaimer before I start, I am not a running expert. I did used to train and compete competitively when I was younger, so I used to train multiple times a week, and these were all the different types of sessions that we would do. I do still train now, but I run more sort of recreationally, but I still like to use some of these different running types to just make my running more interesting. So let's get started. So the first type of running is probably what you're all familiar with, and that is just going out for a steady run. So more kind of experienced runners use their steady runs to build up their endurance and to get lots of mileage into their training. A steady run is when you're just very relaxed, you're in your comfort zone, and you're just sort of ticking along. This is the kind of run that I do if I'm doing a sort of longer distance. So maybe if I was doing like 5 or 6 miles upwards, I would kind of be aiming to just run steady and comfortably. And these runs are great for just getting you into running, getting you out, getting some exercise, building up your endurance. This is the most accessible type of running that I'm sure most of you who are into running probably just do anyway. Running type number 2 is tempo running. So tempo running is when you're running slightly out of your comfort zone. So you're not completely breathless, so you could probably hold a conversation, but you wouldn't be able to just kind of like sing and be very comfortable. Another way this can be defined is it's the pace that a more experienced runner can sustain for an hour. So you could run at that pace for an hour, but you couldn't really keep it up much longer than that. For a less experienced runner, someone who's new to running, it's the pace that you can run at for 20 minutes. So you're not outright sprinting, but you're not jogging at your completely comfortable pace. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, so you're pushing yourself a little bit more. And what this allows you to do is train your body to be able to run faster without putting in so much effort. So this is really good if you want to improve your speed. It's also really good for mental strength. So running at this less comfortable pace will allow you to mentally build the strength to be able to keep pushing, even though it is a bit uncomfortable and a bit painful, just to keep going and push through that. It's also good if you're training for a particular race or event, or if you're sort of training to get a time down for a particular distance, because this is allowing you to run at your threshold, like in a race where you maybe wouldn't be jogging, but you'd actually be trying to push on a bit and get a good time. It's a good sort of simulation of that. Tempo runs are a really good run to do. I do maybe like 2 or 3 of these a week. So whenever I go for like a 3 or 4 mile run, sometimes it will just be steady, but often I will be doing a tempo run, so I will be pushing myself and trying to get my pace to be like reasonably fast. These runs obviously are a little more uncomfortable to do, so it's not like a steady run that's really nice and relaxed, but they are good if you're looking to improve your running. Running type number 3 is interval running. So intervals are sort of similar to tempo running in that you aren't running at your steady pace, you are pushing your pace up, you're putting more effort in. But an interval is the next step up from tempo. I would recommend like finding a sort of loop, so somewhere maybe like a lap round a field or a park, or like a loop around sort of the blocks of houses around you, something like that. And then you want to either do this with using time or using distance. So let's use time and say you're going to run for 4 minutes fast, not an absolute sprint, but you're running faster than that tempo pace. So this is outside of your comfort zone. This is really making you quite breathless. And then after you've run for 4 minutes, you're going to have a recovery. So depending on how experienced you are, your recovery might be the same length as your effort. So it could be 4 minutes, or you could eventually get this down to sort of be like 30 seconds or like 60 seconds. So in your recovery, you want to be walking or slowly jogging, and you want your breathing rate to be getting back down, so you're preparing your body for your next effort, which will be another 4 minutes of hard running, and you will alternate that as many times as you like. A good way to sort of do this is to do what's called a kind of clock structure. So you do 1 minute hard, 1 minute recovery, 2 minutes hard, 2 minutes recovery, 3 minutes hard, 3 minutes recovery, 4, 4, 5, 5, and then you come down again. So from 5 you go back to 4, 3, 2, 1. That could be quite an interesting way to run. If you want to do it by distance, obviously you could do like a lap of a field hard and then recover for another lap and then run another lap hard. The recovery part of the interval running is almost the most important part, because this is when your body is adapting and it's becoming more efficient at recovering. So this will allow you obviously to improve your running and become faster and more comfortable running at those faster paces. It's also really good if you don't sort of know a long running route, so you want to go running but you don't want to kind of like get lost like running around a forest. You can just find a place that you do know, and it can be a very small space, and then you can just run around and around it, changing up your pace so that you're doing intervals. The next type of running I'm going to talk about is hills. So a hill session is where you will have a nice warm-up jog to get yourself to a hill. So this could be just like in your local park or like green area, any hill that you can find, and then you're going to be sprinting up that hill. I normally do like about 10 hills, possibly more, but if you're new to this you could just do like 3 or 4 or 5, however many you feel like. So you're going hard up the hill and then you're jogging down as a recovery, and then you're going up again and you're jogging down for recovery, and then make sure you cool down with a nice gentle jog. So hill sprints obviously really good for improving your speed and your strength and your ability to run up hills. So in my area there are so many hills, so whatever run I go on I will always be encountering some massive hill, and so I like to do hill training to just practice and get better at running up hills. And you kind of want to find a hill that's not too short that you're just completing it in like 5 seconds, but not too long that it becomes less of a hill sprint and more of just like a long steady incline. You want sort of somewhere in the middle, so something quite steep that will maybe take you like 20-30 seconds to run up. People I feel either love or hate hill running. I actually really enjoy hill sessions. I just think they're really fun and like it's more interesting than just going out on a jog. So next we have fartlek running, and this is a Swedish word I think meaning speed play. So this is kind of a bit like interval running, but I see it as the sort of more fun option. So if you want to do fartlek running, just go on a normal kind of run route that you're used to, and then every now and again you want to have kind of surges of speed. So maybe you see a tree in the distance and then you think, right, I'm gonna go fast to that tree, and you just pick up the pace and you surge towards that tree, and then when you get there you just settle back down into your nice steady comfortable pace. And again, this is really good for mental strength, so for that ability to, even though you're running at a comfortable pace, to suddenly surge out of your comfort zone. It's also good for sort of simulating like race tactics. So if you're new to running you probably don't really need to know about this, but if you were like running competitively, then these kind of surges in speed are good to overtake someone and to sort of prevent them from then like following you and keeping up with you, or to lose someone who's like right on your shoulder. But even if you're not running competitively and you're not interested in that, I still think this is quite a fun way to just spruce up one of your normal runs. So yeah, this doesn't have to be really serious. You don't have to quantify the number of times you're going to surge or for how long. Just as you're going along, just pick a kind of point in the distance and speed up to that point and then settle back down again. So finally we have progression running, and this is when you're doing maybe like a normal route that you know, but your aim is to get faster as you go. So maybe the first quarter of the route you're just going steady, the next quarter you're then picking up the pace, then the next quarter you're really picking up the pace some more, and in that final quarter you're really pushing yourself to the end. So again, this is good for race simulation, so you're pushing on as the race continues, you're not kind of slowing down and lagging. It's also good if you want to kind of practice feeling what a pace is like and kind of practice pace setting for yourself. Obviously the longer you run and the more tired you get, the more sort of effort you feel like you're having to put in to just maintain the same pace. So what you need to kind of work out is, how does it feel to actually increase the pace when I'm getting tired halfway through a run? And progression running is really good for that. Again, I think it really like builds your mental strength, and it kind of gives you some motivation, like it gives you something to aim towards, so that when you're hitting certain landmarks in your run, you're pushing the pace on, and that feeling of getting faster and faster is actually quite kind of like invigorating when you're doing it. So there were my 6 running types that you can now go and try. Obviously, it goes without saying that you always want to be warming up and cooling down before doing any of these. And if you're new to running, do take it easy. Don't try and like do all of these sessions all in one go and go really crazy. Just build up slowly, but definitely do experiment if you're interested. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Subscribe to my channel for more videos about running because I'm sure I will be making more of them. And I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye!